Welcome to J Silver Presents, where we present the best in esports from my favorite players, except we're not exactly interviewing a player. I have the honor and privilege to chat with someone very special, MarkZ. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
No, thank you for coming out, and we've done a bunch of these at the different finals that we've talked at, so excited to do another one.
Yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you. We'll cover a special announcement that you just chatted about in a minute, but I want to get your thoughts. How are you enjoying Arizona?
So far, so good. I am a bad tourist on these. I think I've always said is I don't do anything other than kind of work. So it's hot, and I walk basically to the venue, to the hotel, to like a local restaurant or Starbucks or something. You know, I don't really do anything else. So I'm surviving, but it's been a good show.
I definitely feel that. I've been communicating a lot, commuting a lot because my hotel's a little farther.
Yeah.
What's this roadshow been like for the LCS? I know this is the first time in I think 6 years or so that we've taken it to Arizona.
I actually don't know when we would have been in Arizona last.
I think 2015 maybe. I don't remember.
I don't know. I would challenge you on that. I don't know if we've ever actually done an LCS show. There might have been like other Riot Games things at Arizona, but I don't think we've done a roadshow. Someone's gonna call me out. I'm gonna look very silly maybe.
Yeah.
But it's also the first Spring Finals that we've done since 2023. So that was like right before I became commissioner. So that first year we didn't have roadshows for a little bit for Spring Finals. So very happy to, one, get it back on the road, and then two, go to Arizona, because when we only had one roadshow a year, it felt like we were kind of locked into like East Coast, West Coast, and Texas sometimes, or like bigger metropolitan areas. But with two, we have a little bit more flexibility to travel the LCS better, which is really important for us to kind of meet fans where they are. So very, very happy to be in Arizona. I've talked to a lot of fans around at like the different panels that we've had, and for a lot of people, it's their first show because it is close.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Speaking of which, this is, I believe, year 2 as commissioner?
Three.
Year 3 as commissioner. Yeah, it's been crazy. Last time I chatted with you was 2024, which was a little bit of a time.
You skipped the LTA era.
We'll talk about that off camera. But how's it been? How have you been adjusting? I know there's been a lot of challenges right now in the LCS. We'll cover those in a second. But how's things been?
It's been a lot of work to go and change so many things so frequently, and I think that's one of the things that for this year, even though it was a change back from LTA to LCS, we've been trying to not do anything as crazy as sometimes we have done. So it's a lot more about going back to our roots and what fans like in terms of the regional competition, getting Spring Finals back on the road, these sorts of things. So it's been a lot of work to get all that done, but it's I think paying off.
Mm-hmm. We jokingly talked about the industry, but there has been a concern amongst fans about the lack of fans this split. I understand a lot of people are going through an industrial change. I want to get your thoughts on what have you been seeing about people concerned there aren't many fans in attendance. I know we split the Riot Games arena with the Valorant squad, but what is it from your stance? Like, how has it been like adjusting to not having fans in the arena?
So, obviously, sustainability is the number one thing that we're always concerned about, all that stuff. But for us, I think a lot of the decisions come down to just like how we want to prioritize what will matter to fans. And so in that sense, I've mentioned this on the dive once we finally revealed that we had the Arizona Roadshow and we had all these days of the fanless studio. And it's not just about splitting with Valorant, it's about taking those resources and being able to reallocate them into roadshows like this, being able to get on the road more often and do bigger projects than continually put out something in LA weekly, because we have had that for 10 years plus now, where we've had the LCS week over week, and it felt like it was more important this year to start with bringing the LCS back, reconnecting with fans by going out and meeting them where they are, like you said. So I think that was one of the big things for us. It hasn't felt too weird. Obviously it's always better to have fans than not, so it's not like an upgrade in a strict sense for that kind of like week 5 show of a regular season. Like obviously I prefer to have fans there, but I think it's obviously worth it when you look out into the crowd this weekend and you see 2,000 people out there cheering for the teams playing.
Mm-hmm. On the opposite side of that, I know we don't like to usually compare ourselves to other regions, but we did see like LEC go to Madrid and Paris for K-Corp and Koi, and obviously fans are different everywhere across the world. We see that. Have you learned anything from watching some of the other regions?
Yeah, there's also LCK ones where I think T1 and Gen G have all done their little home grounds as well. So, it's something that we're definitely looking into, and we try and take notes from, and we talk with that team frequently. But like you said, each region has its own differences. I think one thing that works very well for Europe is they're much more regionalized in the sense that you have a Spanish-speaking community, a French-speaking community, and then you have an English-speaking community, as well as others. Obviously, there's a ton of languages, but at least with those orgs being represented, kind of locally in that sense, when you go there, it's a group of people who can show up and enjoy that in that way. Whereas for us here in America, even though we are very geographically spread out, it's not like we have this geo-located fan group because this reason of nationality or language or whatever. So we don't quite have the same way to tap into some of those things, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to look into how we can work with our teams to travel the LCS more. Home grounds is totally not off the table. It's something that we're obviously still interested in, but it has to make sense for us, not just copying it because it kind of works in another location.
No, I totally understand that. Speaking of which, about 20 minutes ago, you just announced the summer finals. I'm excited because I love Atlanta.
Yep.
What made you guys choose Atlanta?
So obviously it's a lot of things. One of the most important ones for us is just being able to make sure, like we said, that we're covering all of America as best we can. It's a very dense place, or large place. So, we did Texas last year for LTA finals. We also have Arizona here. We have LCS every weekend kind of on the West Coast. And so it felt like the right time to go back to the East Coast. We also have Worlds this year as well. So we're working with the global team of spreading out and trying to hit different areas and stuff like that. So it is this kind of balancing act where you're looking at what venues are available and kind of landing there. And we're very happy to end up in Atlanta. We had Worlds there in 2022.
Yeah, semifinals after wasn't something with Vancouver.
I remember I worked that event as talent. It was really sick. So I love the Atlanta scene. I think we'll have a lot of really cool opportunities there.
Awesome. I did also, as a pivot to that, I mentioned earlier there have been some economic concerns, not necessarily LCS related, but just worldwide. There's been a lot of things regarding just like economics. A lot of industries are changing all the time. Esports is not unimpacted by that.
Yep.
I know LCS, obviously, broadcast is a little split we have this year. Is this something fans should be worried about in terms of just like economics and making sure that like the LCS is in a stable position?
I don't think fans have anything to be concerned about around the LCS and that stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, so I was like, I don't know where you're going with memory chip prices or oil prices.
I'm not asking about that. I'm more concerned just like, there's people, like, we are seeing industries change, we're seeing people lose jobs, and some people are just worried, we're going to lose broadcast talent. We're not going to be able to do the same things as we once did.
No, I think for LCS and Riot Games and esports as a whole, sustainability is the big thing because we're in it for the long term. So of course things will adjust when they need to adjust, and we'll always do what's best for the long-term health of the ecosystem, as well as the fact that we're just always trying to change things for its own sake of trying to make it better or try and experiment in different ways. So I don't think there's anything that fans need to be concerned about. That doesn't mean that things won't change, but it's not like there's this extreme economic pressure currently for a change of some kind.
No, I understand that, and I appreciate that. I knew that was going to be a tricky question. Couple more questions for you. Number one, we talked about Worlds a little bit. We talked about LCS. You have a little bit of knowledge of it. Any sneak peeks we can get?
For Worlds? No, I am not on the global team. They're off doing stuff. They'll ask me questions when relevant, but otherwise they're very happy to take the lead on all that.
I just want to also bring up again, you mentioned success long term, you mentioned sustainability. What does that mean? What does this word success mean for you?
I think it means two things. One, I think is already sort of happening a little bit, which is sentiment. Like, I think obviously you said fans will have their concerns about the economics of the viewership, and they'll have concerns, but at least I think that the product has connected a lot more to North American fans in this year with the LCS coming back, and there's been general positivity, which, I think there was a lot more skepticism around the entire product, not just like performance, let's say. So I think that's been something that I think is very important for eventually leading towards growth, which is what we want to be focusing on, which is the part two is, it's great if everyone's happy, but we want to see more people engaging and tuning in and stuff like that. And I think that's where this second half of the year will be really important for us. I think we have a lot of big things planned. I know I just revealed summer finals. That's not the last thing that's going to be revealed over the coming months. So we have a lot more in the can still that we're still working on, so fans can be excited, but we at least wanted to give the big details that will require, planning events and travel and things, knowing, like you said, said economically that it can be a little tough right now. So if people want to plan their trip because they want to go to finals, here's the information. We'll start getting it out right away.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Lastly, I know you have a lot of things to do today. We are going to have a couple more things happening later in the day, but I'd like to give you the floor. Would you like to say anything to the fans watching this?
I would just like to say thank you for tuning in as always, for sticking through it. I know there's a lot of people who have been around a really long time. And so, it's very nice to have them still watching, tuning in week over week as things are always, changing. There's new narratives, new storylines. Now everyone's watching to see if C9 will ever break the curse. Watch the Gen Z, Zoomer, FlyQuest squads, camping trips. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff happening in the scene right now to be excited about.
All right, but that's all the questions I have. Mark, as always, it's a pleasure to chat with you. I look forward to seeing what's going on in the summer and as we go on with the rest of the year.
Cool. Thank you so much.